Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
Luckily, this didn't hit my insurance, but the county came through out of nowhere, no warning. So, by the way, we redrew the floodplain.
Oh my gosh!
And here's
where you're at now.
Yeah, and it was like another 100 feet on our property.
Yeah,
still 100 feet from the back door, so it didn't affect it. But I was thinking, what if the house had been in that floodplain? And I mean, when you say floodplain, It's a joke. We've been there 20 years, and even in the hardest rain, ants can still walk through there. It's like how they classified that quote floodplain, I have no idea. But if the house had been in there, and now you just decide to redraw it, and now I've got to pay more insurance on an issue that's never happened.
That's right. So FEMA, right, many years ago, started in 1968, they started promoting flood insurance, right? And they started building this program, federal program, right, under FEMA for flood insurance. And you're absolutely right. And I think that's probably the most frustrating thing is that when these maps get redrawn with floods, you get stuck. And then maybe your mortgage company says, hey, whoa. We just saw this notice come by that you're in a floodplain or a different zone of the floodplain. We're going to want some more coverage. So if that's the case, there's two options that you've got, right, that you can do. You can either go to the federal program. There's a number of carriers that write under the federal program. You can go to floodsmart.gov. Great place to go to check that out and to find out where your map is. As a matter of fact, I brought a map with me so you can kind of see what it looks like. But it is one of those things you can see right online, right? Go to floodsmart.gov, or you can do private insurance. But if you don't get it in advance and you don't have it, your homeowner's policy, that's excluded. And a lot of people don't know that. That flood insurance, flood coverage, and guys, think of flood when you're out there. Think of flood as water coming from the outside into your house. That has nothing to do with inside the house, a water pipe breaking or something like that, right? It's not sewer backup either. That's from the inside of the house. But flood is water from the outside. And it's technically a flood when 2 homes have been affected by the same water event or 2 acres. So that's how they determine if it's a flood event. But you definitely have to have a separate policy with that. And I know, trust me, it's frustrating. It's because out of the blue, they'll just update the flood map. And a lot of these flood maps might be 20 years old. On when you go to check out your map on floodsmart.gov, you might find out it was done a long time ago, and then out of the blue, just like you experience, Romy, it's a change. But definitely go look.
And so when you're saying 2 homes or 2 acres,
yep.
If that sounds like it's written so that it's not including a natural roof leak, or
correct.
That's.
Yeah, roof leak
is not a flood.
Even
though it's from outside the house.
That's right. It's got to be on the ground, so that's a very good point, right? It's ground. It's water traveling across the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, either across 2 acres or 2 homes have been affected. And that's on purpose, because they don't want one person just to experience this and say, hey, I have a flood, right? So it's the government's way of saying, hey, it's technically going to be a flood when either one of those 2 things have happened.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona home